The 2017 Canons season has come to a close, but there is still plenty to talk about, including the high school skills competition finals and the awarding of the Canons Cares scholarships at the last home game. So stay tuned as we wrap up the 2017 lacrosse season next on Canons Full Contact. What's going on? Welcome to our final episode of Canons Full Contact for the 2017 season. I'm Margo McCauley, and I'm joined as always by former Canon Jack Reed. Jack, not a lot of things went the way the Canons wanted on the field, but were there any bright spots you can take away from it?
Yeah, I thought there were a number of bright spots. First of all, throughout the season, especially the tail end, they battled hard all the way to the final whistle. You want to see that kind of fight out of your local organization. They had it. And two, one-goal losses. I mean, the Canons were right there all season long, playing with all the teams that are in the playoffs as well. Evidence that they have the pieces in place. They tighten a couple things up here and there, but they're right there.
One of the reasons they were able to compete in all those games this year was because of their face-off specialist and all-star Joe Nordella. The Canons face-off specialist appeared in 13 games this season and won 53% of his draws. In addition, he had career highs in goals, assists, and points. He is the topic of this week's player profile.
It was actually Coach Brecht at Rutgers. So when I was in high school, I played midfield mostly, and I did face off, just being one of the better ground ball guys on the team. Back then, like 2011, the facing off wasn't really as specialized as it is now. There wasn't really any formal coaching. I had never been coached until I got to college, but having taken some in high school, I was always doing it in practice. And then Chris Mattis, a Rutgers alum, who had graduated the year prior to me being there, he would come back freshman year and he used to always work with us. I ended up kind of really liking the competitive part of it, and like going head to head with one other person, kind of being on the spotlight every time there's a goal. Like it's you versus somebody else, there's no hiding out there. So I really liked that, and with Chris's coaching and Coach Brecht kind of pushing me, I really excelled with the technical part of it, and obviously the competitive aspect really drove me to continue to be better and better. But yeah, I would say it was Coach Brecht at Rutgers who really pushed me to be like, yo, you could be a good face-off guy, man. I think I was a little bit rough around the edges and kind of a raw lacrosse player. I always was a pretty smart lacrosse player, so I could pick up on things pretty quickly. I would really say my experience there kind of allowed me to be a well-balanced overall lacrosse player, not just a face-off guy. I know some teams in college and even like pros, like in the pros, some of the guys don't even practice, they just do face-offs the whole time during practice. In college, it's the same way. There's kids who just do face-offs the whole time during practice, but our coach would never let us do that. He was very adamant about us doing all the drills, like working on our stick work even more so. He's like, you have to have the best stick skills on the team because the team's possession relies heavily on you. So I really took that upon myself to play wall ball every single day before practice, to be like one of the strongest kids on the team in the weight room, always pushing myself to do extra work. And that stuff really helped kind of elevate my game, just believing in what the coaches were telling me and really putting the time in. It has been very hard to find people to really mentor me. I have to take it a lot upon myself to find like-minded kids. There's a kid here who I've been working with the past few years, Max Adler at Bentley. He now plays for the Outlaws. Him and I are training 2 to 3 nights a week from when he gets out of work, and when I'm done with all my stuff, we meet up down like near Boston Commons or at Clemente Field by Fenway, and we work from like 10 to 11:30 p.m. So we've really had to, you do have to take it a lot upon yourself because there's not that many people who specialize in it, and there's not that many people who can continue to push you and challenge you and really make you better. My friend Blake Burkhart and I, he actually played with me at Rutgers my freshman year. His dad is the one who started Faceoff Factory when we were in college. As he got more busy with his construction business and I graduated and wanted to continue playing, he kind of passed it along to me. Us two training together was the most beneficial experience of my life in terms of us like dedicating a whole summer to facing off and traveling and meeting different people and working with kids all over the country. And that really kind of, I kind of realized, I was like, if I want to do this, like I'm gonna have to really take it upon myself and be responsible and hold myself accountable because there's really not anyone else to do it. Being at the USA tryouts, I was fortunate enough to work with Coach Cannon. Our next round is, I believe, the first weekend in September. And we have a blue-white scrimmage with about 45 to 50 guys, and that's really been the goal. I mean, that's kind of Aside from MLL, that's probably the highest international honor you could get for field lacrosse is playing for the men's national team for us. And that's been a goal since day one. Like the first time I watched the World Games, I was like, wow, if I could ever make it to this point, that'd be really special, and I'd feel pretty accomplished about everything that I've done. So I'm really excited. I'm chomping at the bit, and I'm continuing to work hard to put myself in the best position possible to potentially make the team. I'm working a lot and dedicating my summers to traveling and training with different people and coaching. Facing Off has really helped me kind of grow exponentially and at a rate that I never thought I'd be capable of, honestly.
Coach, thanks again for joining me. Looking forward to another telestrator session with you. We've gone through a couple this year, attack and the offensive side of the field with Max and Will. We got the goalies with Tyler and the clearing game. Today we're going to look at Joe and the face-off. Before we do that, tell me a little bit about the position and why it's so important.
Yeah, it's really become a specialty position, right, in our game of lacrosse. Almost like a field goal kicker, if you will. In football, it's really become specialized. And having a guy like Joe Nordella, who's so technical, scraps for ground balls, uses his wing play, really gains a lot of possessions for us to start our offense.
I've always enjoyed the fact that lacrosse is one of the few sports where after a goal is scored, both teams have pretty much an equal opportunity of getting the next possession. With a guy like Joe, you're a little bit better than 50-50, and he kicks in on the offensive side, which we're going to see here in a moment. So here's Joe facing off against Atlanta, and one of the things I'm going to point out before we even hit play is just that, you know, lacrosse, there's a role for almost any body size. Joe's giving up a few pounds here, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Scrappy face-off, wing play coming in, and look at the speed.
And above and beyond, Jack, winning that face-off is one thing. He's got one of the best long stick midfielders in Scott Ratliff chasing him down. He keeps his vision open upfield and gets it to Kevin Buchanan for a great finish.
Well, there's an example of him dishing after a face-off win. Let's take a look at him maybe sticking one in the back of the net.
Here again, he plays his opponent well after kicking it out, gets the ground ball, and really drives it right down the gut for a great low shot on Austin Kaut from Florida. Stick skills by Nordella are really strong. He's obviously one of the better guys in the league at winning the face-off, and also his stick work.
Well, the last one we're going to see here today, Coach, goes up against one of the all-time and recently retired great face-off men, Greg Grenlian from the New York Lizards. And this one, not the prettiest face-off, but an example of how staying with the ball and being scrappy can get you that victory, right? Greg wins it out. Behind him, actually scoops the ground ball, and the turnover is caused by Joe. He's off to the races again.
Really good second effort there, Jack. Like you said, Grenlian won the initial face-off, but Nordella just stayed on the ball, got it on the ground, and took it right to the rack.
A great example of Joe's scrappiness. He's got a lot of heart. He's also got a lot of technique. He's a real bright spot for the Canons, and he had a great 2017 season. Hopefully he heals well and comes back strong in 18.
Absolutely.
Coming up next on Canons Full Contact, we will look back at all of the events that occurred at Harvard around the season finale.
It's not normal. It's not routine. It doesn't do usual, or run-of-the-mill, or typical. It doesn't have speeds, or limits, or restrictions. It's refreshingly simple, but it's never ordinary. Try Mino. Protein never tasted so good.
It has been an awesome time. I've had so much fun here.
This is my first personal year working with Ipswich, doing the Lats and Lagers. You know, being former lacrosse players, we wanted to make sure we took advantage of this. I played at Binghamton University. I was a short stick D midi. Chris played at Gordon College, and he was a goalie, so he's an idiot.
Yeah. The Boston Canons are huge down here, and we want to be a part of it and really support Boston sports.
It's a great event. There's a lot of really good breweries and places here, and you get to sample some stuff and have some fun before you get to watch a cool lacrosse game.
The lacrosse community, it's a growing community, and as well as the craft beer industry, so it's really cool to just see it all come together, like the lacrosse community and the the beer community, and they're both like very tight with each other, so it's a lot of fun to see come together.
As we've tried to demonstrate this season, the Canons organization is about much more than just the on-field product. Never was that more evident than at their season finale on August 5th at Harvard. There were a number of things going on around the game for the fans, including that Lax and Lagers event featuring local brewers.
That's right, Margot. It was a full day at the stadium and got underway with the finals of the Plymouth Rock High School Skills Competition that afternoon. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that event.
We're here on the backfields of Harvard, field Come Knock 5 for the Skills Competition Finals presented by Plymouth Rock. So this is our 4th year running the skills competitions. It started primarily as a sponsor-driven thing, and then we kind of expanded it to towns that just partner with us to do outings, seasons, that kind of thing. So in a bunch of our partner towns, we run probably 10 to 15 town competitions, and the winners in 6 different age groups, boys and girls, get invited here to do the finals.
Nice.
U9, U11, U13, and U15, and then we only invite the U11s, the U13s, and the U15s to the finals. So I've been doing these from the beginning, so it's great. You know, the towns really love it because we basically come to them, run a cool event that the kids kind of get to see the Canons brand and do something kind of fun that's a little different than kind of coming to a game day, but then ends up kind of pushing it to a game day and doing something cool before. But the towns love it, the kids have a blast. The kids go home tired, so the parents are pretty happy. So overall, it's a great event to run in a town.
There's been the first competition for Rhode Island, and that's where I'm from. And then we got some information a few weeks ago and where we were told when it's gonna be. So I practiced some more, and then we came to Boston to do this.
We'll do all the scoring now. We'll announce the winners at the end of the finals here, and then we'll also honor them at halftime. We'll honor all the competitors at halftime, but we'll actually present the plaques in front of the Canons crowd tonight.
It was fun to compete against all my friends back in Long Meadow and then come here. Long Meadow's a pretty competitive town. We're kind of always in the middle of things.
See who wins. It's a good competition. It's fun because all these kids are from different towns. So they'll just kind of go after each other a little bit, see who can win, and we'll win some fun prizes.
Congratulations to the winners. They went through a number of events to earn the right to be in the finals at Harvard, and they did a great job that night.
Absolutely. Also on Saturday, the Canons awarded their Canons Care scholarships to some worthy young people who are doing great work in their communities.
For years, we've worked with Major League Lacrosse. Our goal is to grow the game of lacrosse, but also really give back to those who might not be as fortunate.
It's coming from the Canons. The scholarships have been going on for at least 5 years. You know, we get our top players, performance and school-wise, and make sure that they get the funds that they need to go to school with the help of the Canons, of course.
It feels great. Lacrosse has been part of my life for so long that it just feels great to get this scholarship. Also helping out for college and stuff. So going off to college, you definitely want as much scholarship money as you possibly can get. So this feels great. I mean, it's a huge blessing.
Basically, it's just something that helps out nonprofits like ours, Metro Lacrosse out of Boston. Helps us get these athletes involved, helps us get our scholarship athletes to different schools, financial aid, summer camps, anything it takes really to get our guys involved, and girls.
Still to come, we have our final community spotlight of the season, highlighting the work of the Bill Belichick Foundation and Adaptive Lacrosse.
We're on to you, diabetes. Time's up insufficient prenatal care. And administrative paperwork, your days of drowning people are numbered. Same goes for you, budget overruns. And rising costs. Wipe that smile off your face. we're coming for you too. For those who won't rest until the world is healthier, neither will we. Optum, how well gets done.
Welcome back to Canons Full Contact. At their final home game of the season, the Canons hosted a group of athletes from Adaptive Lacrosse, which makes the sport available to athletes with disabilities. Let's take a look back at their day at Harvard Stadium.
Adaptive Lacrosse is for athletes with developmental or physical disabilities to learn the game of lacrosse. It's set up with mentors or buddies who are usually high school and college students who also play lacrosse, and we teach them lacrosse in a non-competitive and an adaptive manner. It's just teaching them the game and feeling like they're part of the community and it creates friendships, it creates bonds, so they see each other in school, and it just becomes just more of a community-based. We're here to see the game, and we're looking forward. We have a bunch of our athletes like Ken, and we're really excited to watch the game. And do a meet and greet the players, and do the high fives. I think it's amazing because it means the word's going to get out and we're going to have this amazing experience today. They'll see lacrosse firsthand, and they get together socially. And we really, really appreciate it because anyone can find out about adaptive lacrosse. We welcome anyone from the state of Mass to come and play with us, and we're always welcoming new people.
That piece is just another example of the great work the Canons and the lacrosse community do to give back. Another group with a tie to lacrosse, the Bill Belichick Foundation, is the focus of this week's Trimino Community Spotlight. We sat down recently with the foundation's executive director, Linda Holliday.
You can find our mission statement on the BillBelichickFoundation.org, but in a nutshell, we would like to help kids pursue their academic goals through lacrosse and sports-based programs. We've also helped different organizations with lacrosse gear and uniforms, as well as equipment, coaching, and assistance and staffing. And also, which is kind of exciting, we've had several practice fields internationally in Uganda, Croatia, and just recently in Armenia. We've worked really hard to establish several lacrosse initiatives throughout New England, and we've enjoyed our relationship with the Boston Canons. We've also worked with the Paul Rabel Foundation. We've worked with US Lacrosse and FIL Indoor Lacrosse. And as you all know, lacrosse has been very special to Bill throughout his life. And he played lacrosse in high school, he played lacrosse in college. His daughter currently coaches women's lacrosse at Holy Cross. Both of his sons played and both of my daughters played lacrosse. So it's always been a very integral part of our lives. I'm the only one that doesn't. I think I can throw, but I'm not very good at catching. For third season, we have partnered with the Boston Canons, and we've collaborated on what's called Belichick's Huddle. We take a group of children that basically don't have access to come to a professional lacrosse game like this, and they get to watch the entire game and look up to some of their heroes and see lacrosse performed at the highest level. Adaptive Lacrosse offers camps and clinics along with tutoring, and they work with special needs children who are wanting to play lacrosse, which we thought was a terrific resource. We're fortunate enough recently to host them at the Belichick Huddle, and they were able to see a home game played at Harvard Stadium. Also, we have a wonderful relationship with Moses Brown School in Providence. We have collaborated with them to create basically what's called Grounders for the Game. So these children have worked to fundraise money through parents or through sponsors. So every time they pick up the ground ball, then at the end of the year, they come to us with an entire number of monies earned. The Belichick Foundation matches that. And so far, we've been fortunate enough to raise a little over $20,000, and we've been able to resource this to Providence after-school programs. We also have a great relationship with STX. They have been terrific working with us, and just last spring alone, we were able to equip 7 different organizations with head-to-toe package. And one example of that is a lacrosse organization in Maine. The only spring sport that they had was baseball. So you can imagine how exciting this was for them. In addition to that, we have a great announcement of our 4th annual Hall of Fame Huddle that will take place on November 2nd. That's a Thursday evening at the Seaport World Trade Center. And we're going to discuss what we have done, what our endeavors have been for the past year, and what we have coming up in the next year. We'll continue to carry along our mission statement, and we'll offer lacrosse to people who need financial assistance, knowledge, clinics, or tutoring. And we're certainly looking forward to continuing our partnership with the Boston Canons in the future. These kids are exposed to professional players that are all their heroes, and who knows, maybe this next generation might be your next lacrosse player.
Thanks to Linda for that, and thank you to Trimino for sponsoring our Community Spotlight all season long. Coming up next, Coach Quirk joins us again with this week's coaching tip.
We're on to you, diabetes. Time's up insufficient prenatal care. And administrative paperwork, your days of drowning people are numbered. Same goes for you, budget overruns. And rising costs. Wipe that smile off your face. We're coming for you too. For those who won't rest until the world is healthier, neither will we. Optum, how well gets done.
It's not normal. It's not routine. It doesn't do usual, or run-of-the-mill, or typical. It doesn't have speeds, or limits, or restrictions. It's refreshingly simple, but it's never ordinary. Trimino. Protein never tasted so good.
Welcome back to Canons Full Contact. All season long, Canons head coach Sean Quirk has joined us with a tip for players and coaches to improve their game as we get ready for the last installment of the season. Coach is standing by with Jack Reed.
Coach, I want to thank you. All season long, you've been sharing some of your unique insights with getting better at the game of lacrosse. We've covered a lot of different areas. I think today's segment, probably the most important to end with, so that kids watching at home have something to work on all season long, and that's wall ball, stick skills. They can't ever sleep on that. Always got to be getting better.
No question, Jack. You know better than anyone at any position on the field in the game of lacrosse, stick skills really dictate everything. And starting at an early age, playing wall ball is critical, but maintaining that through high school, college, even the guys on the Boston Canons are playing wall ball every day to really better their skills.
Kids watching at home, I promise you the pros are spending as much time playing catch on the wall as the young guys trying to develop their game. Well, thanks a lot, Coach. Let's check out this week's Kyocera Coach's Tip.
Today we're going to cover wall ball. Stick work at all levels, youth, high school, college, and professional is critical. No better way to get your stick work in and fine-tuned than getting on a brick wall, a cement wall, and working on those fundamentals and hand-eye coordination. We're doing 10 catch right and throw right. You'll notice the fundamentals of the players. Everything is overhand, up and away, stepping with that opposite foot. We will then go into 10 catch lefty, throw lefty. The next segment is to catch righty, switch hands, throw lefty, or catch lefty, throw righty. The next segment of wall ball is 10 one-handed catch and throwing righty. With the one-handed throwing, this is really working on those fundamentals. Now we'll get into one-handed catch and throw lefty. And the last part of the wall ball challenge is a little bit trickier, throwing behind the back righty, throwing behind the back lefty. The coaching tips for wall ball are to throw overhand consistently, step with the opposite foot, and use that hand-eye coordination to better your skills.
Jack, you still get your reps in on the wall?
Only when my nephew won't play catch with me.
All right, kids, come on, play catch with your uncles. But just like that, that's a wrap on the 2017 Canons Full Contact season and the Canon season. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it, Margot. Had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me out.
I did too, but until next year,
Stay active with the sticks.
Keep your head on a swivel.
And keep your eyes on the 2018 season.